Hello and welcome to Connect, the weekly podcast of the California MBA, featuring one-on-one interviews with movers and shakers in the mortgage industry. I'm Susan Milazzo, CEO of the California MBA, and I'm very happy that you could join us today. Before I welcome today's guest, I'd like to thank our 2025 President's Council sponsors. And these are companies that provide a tremendous amount of financial support to the California MBA, in large part so that we can continue to be that strong voice for the real estate finance industry before the California State Legislature and our regulators. So please join me in thanking this year's President's Council sponsors. And those companies are AmeriHome, Consolidated Analytics, Funding Shield, Guild Mortgage, Rocket Mortgage, Wiener Brodsky Kiter, and Western Alliance Bank. Thank you all so much for your support this year. We truly appreciate it. I'd like to welcome today's guest. As many of you know, recently we announced that I will be retiring from my position as CEO of California MBA after more than 20 years representing this incredible industry. I've loved having the honor to represent the real estate finance industry, and I truly thank all of you for this opportunity. But I'm very happy today on Connect to be introducing you to the new CEO of the California MBA, and that is Paul Gigliotti. Paul, welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. It's a thrill to be sitting next to you and talking about all the great things about California MBA.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this, and I think it's a great opportunity for us our members in the industry to kind of learn a little bit more about you and your background. So let's meet Paul today. Like, how did you get into the mortgage industry?
I feel like starting like the Star Wars, epilogue many years ago, right?
In a land far, far away.
Yeah, in a land far, far away, in a different time, different generation. I actually started my career on the origination side as an originator with a small IMB, a broker turned IMB here in Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
So kind of coming full circle, right? And then from there, I started working my way up into management. I became a branch manager. And then I split from the industry for a hot second. Like many people, during the downturn in the economy,
yeah,
I had a stint at Cisco Systems in the investor relations department. And honestly, that's where I really started to collaborate the idea and concept of technology with what I have for passion in the mortgage lending space. So like many other people in our industry, I got pulled back in by a friend of mine, Robert Vilenowith at West Coast Mortgage Group, who at the time had a brokerage company, and he had this vision of creating a nationwide IMB and taking it direct to agency. And he pulled me in as his business partner. And so we agreed on that. I did that for about 2 years, really advanced the organization. I was in charge of marketing and the tech stack and the operations side of it. And then I went back to technology, where I was just most recently with our friends at Prudent AI, running growth and partnership. And now I'm here in this amazing opportunity to continue to support this industry, which I have such a passion for.
Yeah, this is exciting for us too. So, through this journey, I've learned a lot more about your career path and the things that you've done. With your executive experience at Pinnacle and Axis, Prudent AI, what kind of leadership innovation lessons will you bring to the California MBA?
That is a great question, and I've been really focusing on what are my goals with the association, with our board member and our staff and our members. First and foremost, I believe that leadership starts with authenticity. I believe in what I call like a whole self approach. And that's being 100% of who you are, because when you do that, you bring all of your passions to the table. And so when we have our passions there, that's room for success from my perspective. And I bring that in my business life as well as my personal life with my husband and my children. I think that every organization is filled with innovators and experts. And I think first and foremost, as a leader, it's my role to listen, learn, and then empower your team to grow together. From that perspective, it really creates alignment, trust, and then the results that you're looking for. So in this position at the California MBA, what I know I'm going to bring with me from the leadership skill set point of view is working with this amazing, robust board of directors. We have some of the most brilliant minds in the industry as board members.
Yeah.
Our very small but mighty staff. We have individuals in our staff that are so dedicated to our mission and purpose at the California MBA, and then all of our members.
Yeah.
Right? They're heavily involved. They're engaged, and they care about our purpose and our value proposition. You know, they're ready to learn about advocacy. They're ready to understand the legislative process and how it affects their business. They're ready to learn about technology. So I plan on bringing that all together and learning from those individuals and listening to what they have to say and moving the association forward with all those brilliant minds.
I think it's an interesting combination, like bringing your experience and your background from doing, from running for-profit, companies to also, starting your own nonprofit. I think you can kind of blend that background into coming and running the California MBA. So, how would you build on the legacy of advocacy and member support that the California MBA has been known for? I mean, it's the cornerstone of our association for now 70 years. We are celebrating this year.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. Right? Because you talk about 70 years of this
70 years,
amazing
I know.
association.
When you think about all the past leaders that have helped us get here in California MBA.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to mention it, the filling your shoes, or as someone so eloquently said, your pumps. Like what you've done for the industry is amazing. So stepping into that role, that's a big picture to look at. The California MBA, as you were saying, has always been strong with advocacy and legislation. I also think there's a perspective of a very strong community and unity within the organization, which is important, right? We, as you've said, we're providing advocacy, we're providing resources and education to help our members navigate the complexity of the residential and commercial space. I mean, it's always continuously changing. So my focus to expand on that foundation is to grow the reach of our community while making an impact with our current members and partners, and having so that they can have clear, easy access to all these resources. So, in essence, we've got this information, and I think the California MBA will have an opportunity to have that information, that data, readily accessible at their fingertips, so they can see how to navigate the complexities of both the commercial and residential side. Currently, we're providing that through our plethora of events that we offer, all of our committees, our legislative committee, all the communication that we do through our members. And we built a really strong foundation of providing those tools and resources to the commercial and residential space. And so I'm going to focus with, again, our board, our staff, and our members at how do we make that accessible with the touch of a button, if you will. So it can be synced into daily life of our members' professional.
Yeah, I love your ideas of allowing for more engagement or easier ways to engage with the association. I think one thing that I've heard is that members have always appreciated that staff is accessible, but I think you're adding on to that. You're finding ways to not only maintain that accessibility, but kind of build on that and allow through the use of technology in our new CRM platform to allow for members to get more, engagement in our organization and take advantage of the benefits that we provide for membership.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah. Gosh, and I look back to the 20 years that I've been doing this, the residential and commercial lending space is constantly changing. And I'd love to talk about what key trends have you focused on, and how will you help the California MBA members navigate those?
That's a great question. I think that when we look at our professional world, regardless of industry, in our professional world, in our personal world, excuse me, I think the biggest trend that I'm seeing right now is evolution. Um, things, the pace of change in our industry from technology and AI to shifting what the consumer's demand is to keeping up with market cycles, current market cycles, and what's going on from a legislative point of view is moving so quickly. Where we were, as you were saying, 3 years ago is not where we are.
Right.
And we can all sit here and those that are listening know that in a year it's all going to be different, right? We're going to go through another market cycle. There's going to be more movement with AI, more regulatory and legislative change. And that's why the California MBA is more important now than ever. Our residential and commercial lending members not only rely on us for just information, but for interpretation and action. What are next best steps? How is this going to affect our business? How is this going to affect certain departments within, our business? So I think our role is to connect with the members, as you were saying, with insights and tools that they need in order to be able to adopt really quickly to those changes. So biggest trend, really honestly, is evolving and keeping up with the everlasting change of our industry.
Constant change. If I think about, just the adoption of technology right now, I think in both residential and commercial lending is pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So on a personal note, kind of what excites you about the future of the association, and just anything that you want to share with our members or our listeners?
Well, also another loaded question. This podcast should have been like an hour. What excites me about this association and this job, there are so many things to answer. Right now, I'm most excited about the opportunity, right? I'm most excited about what we have the ability to do as an industry. I know AI talk track is scary still to some people. I know the volatility of the market is scary. The uncertainty of our political climate is all scary. But this is a pivotal time. And yes, it's full of challenge, but from my perspective, it's but also full of potential for growth and transformation. Right now is the time to be in front of and understanding what's coming down the pipeline with all of our initiatives that we support the industry with. And it's crucial to lenders. It's crucial to both commercial and residential lenders and the organizations that support those lending institutions to understand what's occurring. And the California MBA has always been on the forefront of making sure our members are prepared for change and positioned to embrace it. And we do that through our events. We do that through our legislation and advocacy, through our networking platforms, and also through our education initiatives. And so I think we provide the foundation for our members to stay informed, connected, and be ready to act. So in a nutshell, I'm personally excited to embrace, again, all the knowledge that we have within our association from our robust board of directors, our staff, and our members, and to make sure this insight is shared widely and efficiently so that our members in the industry have access to it. My commitment is to deepen our mission of advocacy, education, and networking, and to ensure that every member feels connected to the opportunities ahead.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. I can tell you firsthand, it's a fantastic job and you'll have a great time doing it. It'll be hard, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah. But
you get to represent this great industry that just never, it's never boring. I can tell you that.
And honestly, who could ask for more? I know we're going to wrap, but who could ask for more than to represent our industry that's here to support people in businesses on the commercial side and growing wealth, and on the residential side, the dream of home ownership.
Right.
Our association's at the forefront of that. What more could somebody ask for in a job?
Well, one of the things Paul will be doing, of course, in his new role is he will be your new host on the Connect podcast. So I will sign off as I typically do, but thank you all for joining us for today's podcast. Paul, we'll see you next week. To access any of our Past episodes, you can follow us on our YouTube channel. We're also available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. That's it for this week, and Paul will see you next time on Connect.
Here we go.